Hello and welcome to Analyzing Finance with Nick. I'm going to be making a quick episode today about the economic impact of ChatGPT. For those who are not familiar with ChatGPT, it is the newest development in artificial intelligence. OpenAI released it on November 30th, and within the first 5 days, it already got 1 million active users. This is a faster than Instagram, iPhone, YouTube, or even email's adoption rate over the same time period. And what ChatGPT basically does, and I'll show an example later in this video, is that it is a model that basically is able to use deep learning techniques to generate text that is like human generated text. It can write anything you want it to just by giving it an assignment. Like say you, and as long as you write in a format that like would be like an essay question in college, it can create it. It can write invitations for your Christmas party. It can write an essay about the economic history of Switzerland and why it's important in the modern day. It could write legal contracts. It could write sales copy. It could write whatever you want it really to using data scraped from the internet pre-fall 2021. To show you how ChatGPT works, I am going to replace my normal call to action to subscribe to my channel and have ChatGPT write it for me. And what you do is you type in your request here, and I have this copy pasted to save time, to write a persuasive letter for viewers to subscribe to the channel. And let's see what they come up with. And here, let's read it. They wrote this essay in an instant. Dear viewer, are you tired of scrolling through the endless videos on YouTube without finding anything that truly piques your interest? Are you looking for a channel that offers highly quality, informative content on finance and economics? If so, I have the channel for you, Analyzing Finance with Nick. At Analyzing Finance with Nick, we believe that understanding the world of finance and economics is crucial for making informed decisions in today's economy. That's why we strive to provide engaging and informative videos that break down complex concepts and make them accessible to everyone. And it keeps going. This is pretty good. It's very persuasive. And like the call action, it goes into more. It says, so why wait? Subscribe to Analyzing Finance with Nick today and take your first step before becoming a more informed and financially savvy individual. We look forward to having you part of your community. Sincerely, Nick. So yeah, maybe should I use this as my tagline for my channel instead of my current intro description? It looks pretty good to me. And this example, I use it mainly to show the power. Like, I'm not good at writing persuasive sales copy, but just by asking the question to ChatGPT, they put something pretty good together in almost an instant. And the potential of this is enormous, and I'm going to elaborate more on some of the longer-term economic consequences in the rest of this video. ChatGPT is going to be very disruptive. As you've seen in my example, it writes near human quality level writing that is probably better than 90% of what college graduates even can do today. And the social and economic incentive structures in our society are going to change as this AI technology gets better. The first real consequence is in academia. Basically, academic integrity for any sort of take-home project is going to be harder, since the AI generates original content depending on how you word the question, and you can redo it if you want a different interpretation. It'll be very hard for scanners that check for plagiarism today to catch it, especially as it gets better. And so as a result, there'll be one of two consequences of this. One, the economic value of a college degree will decline, because if people are just doing all their homework through AI and this just becomes or essays or dissertations, and this becomes just more commonly understood in society, employers are going to respond and not take it as seriously. The second thing that could happen is that every college assignment from a basic practice question homework to every exam, to even PhD level dissertations, that are going to have to be done either orally or through handwritten proctored exams, so that people do not use the AI to cheat. So it's going to majorly have to change the way people are educated, and by changing the way that people are educated, it has a lot of economic consequences. The other major economic consequence from a broader picture is going to be the convergence of blue collar and white collar wages and employment. Historically, what globalization did in the late 20th century, in the 2000s, was by exporting labor to cheaper countries, it put out a lot of manufacturing jobs in the Western countries, particularly the Rust Belt of the United States, out of work by moving all their jobs overseas. What I think when it comes to AI, it is the same impact on low creativity white collar work. This can range on things. It could be like lawyers drafting boilerplate contracts with a few slight changes for a custom situation. It could be copywriters writing sales copy or marketing material for their clients. It could be research analysts doing just a factual summary about a company or about the history of a region or whatever, or like a think tank analyst or a stock market analyst. If whatever just is like a pure objective fact part of their analysis is going to be commoditized, and those who are professional thinkers for a living, such as research analysts and finance, are going to be more valued for their opinions and their accuracy of their opinions, their insights, or future scenario analysis, or other things that require a little bit more creativity than just gathering the facts. Now everybody can gather the facts without even having to do a Google search. The ChatGPT will scan the search engines for you. This also impacts back-end software development, because ChatGPT and similar AI can fix errors in code, and so therefore coders will really need to rely on creating new things. Anything that could be just a slight modification of existing code or editing existing damaged code can now be done by the AI. Public relations statements can be handled. Foreign language translation is another one. And just in academia, like writing, again, dissertations and PhDs. So a lot of these, and teaching, a lot of stuff is going to be at risk of automation. And then those who hire these people will benefit from just saving money from not having to hire these people, or hiring them for less amount of time, and they only really need them for the parts that require more creative opinion or subjectivity, because the AI are never going to probably replace perfect human subjectivity and things that are just more qualitative in nature. And so, yeah, being a copywriter or being some sort of quant-focused analysis that relies just on data that's already out there available on the internet is not going to be the next $200,000 job. So as an employment implications is number one, academic implications I mentioned, and then and not just really employment in terms of absolute jobs being lost or wages being lowered, but there's also a relative gap between blue collar and white collar labor. This is already narrowing for a number of other reasons, mainly due to onshoring of manufacturing and the fact that work remote allows more geographical arbitrage for white collar labor. There's a bunch of other drivers, but this AI accelerates that. And when you have a society where it's taught that if you go to college and have a white collar type job in an office, you automatically have more social status and you have higher income and higher income potential than those who work in the trades or manufacturing on a factory or do more hands-on physical work or do things involving in the physical world versus the digital world. This is already starting to change, and the discrepancy between the social status and income of blue and white collar people, the gap there in incomes are narrowing. In fact, there's a lot of people in the trades who make a lot more money than somebody who is working a more conventional 9-to-5 office job, but the latter has more social status, and this grievances is what caused some of the electoral tensions recently around the world and populist movements to succeed, because income and achievement was not purely correlated with status. And this problem is going to get worse because AI is mainly devaluing digital work, especially, again, white collar labor that's not high on the creativity scale. Whereas physical labor is not really affected by AI. People still have to do a lot of the physical things in the world, whether there's AI or not. So the demand for that stuff will either stay the same or slightly go up, whereas the demand for office type work is going to go down. And so therefore the wage gap, if it doesn't already completely close or flip, the gap will narrow at least, if not flip. And you're going to have a lot of resentful people who racked up a lot of student debt or spent a lot of time in college and graduate school for it to not get as paid as somebody once you skipped school and went straight to the trades. And they're going to release their frustration through the ballot box. I don't really know what kind of policies they will be doing as retribution, and I'm not going to get into the merits of that because that's more of a political conversation. But expect the politics to be impacted greatly by a lot of white collar people being disrupted the same way that globalization disrupted manufacturing and blue collar employment in previous generations. And there's going to be a lot of other implications. This is also going to make it a lot cheaper for entrepreneurs to scale with lower levels of staff, and it could help create the next great boom of startups in the non-tech world. I think a lot of innovation in the future is general, and the next big growth companies, people who can apply this technological gains in software to real world applications. I don't know what's out there, but tools like ChatGPT will lower the cost of doing due diligence and initial setup and doing a lot of the building the groundwork for a successful business in the future. So overall, these are some of my early thoughts on the impact of this technology. I'm excited for what's going to come. Let me know what you think about what ChatGPT is going to impact the world. I'm probably missing a lot. I'm not hardly a tech expert, but I know when I see like a real potential breakthrough technology that's going to cause a lot of consequences, and I want to kind of let you guys know about this and get ahead of it. So share your thoughts on the comments. Let's keep this going as a conversation. And thanks for watching.